What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today I'm going to show you guys something pretty freaking interesting because yesterday I ended up slapping on this card set, which only gives me about 5% Pierce. And as many of you know, when it comes to Pierce, it really adds a tremendous amount of damage. But when you're using Tier 4 characters, do you really need it? Well, the answer is yes. If you're trying to push World Boss, you're trying to push ABL especially, or Dormammu, you're trying to do better against that GBR, then yes, it will obviously be better. But what I'm going to show you today, guys, might surprise the living hell out of you. Now, these cards are not as stacked as my PvE account because my PvE, not my PvE account, but my PvE card set has 22% Pierce, whereas we only have 5% Pierce here. And my attack is actually even less. Now, we're going to be doing a little testing with Hawk and Black Widow. Now, on this account, on this card set, we have 40% max HP, right? Whereas with my regular card set, my PvE set, it's only 24%. We'll just say 24%, right? But that 22% makes more of a difference than that little bit of HP, right? And if you look at my attack stats, guys, we'll just go with physical attack because we're going to be using Black Widow. You have 71% here, and you have another 39% right here, which is about 110% physical attack. 110% physical attack versus 55, and then we have, about 75% physical attack. So 110% physical attack versus 75% physical attack. And I'm going to throw out a couple little stats for you guys as well, because this video would be way too long if I showed you everything. Now, the cool thing about, having these extra card sets is, one, I can show you guys how strong Tier 4 characters are, or just any character with a lower amount of Pierce, which is actually pretty damn cool, especially for you newer players. And all you gotta do is just click on here and then put where you want to use your other card deck. So since I'm using my card deck on World Boss 2, I have it clicked here. Alliance Battle, I have it clicked here. Giant Boss Raid, I have it clicked here, right? And I even tried it in Timeline, although, it did work out all right, actually about the same, but still it'd be better to have a lot more Pierce in all reality. So let me show you guys a little something here really quick. So when it comes to Hawk, right? You see the card stats, everything's pretty much maxed out, or see his stats, they're pretty much maxed out except for his dodge is at 67%. Well, now his dodge is at 70%, and he's almost maxed out. So the stats are pretty much almost maxed out on my Hawk. And for Black Widow, as you guys will see, you can see that with the card deck 1, right, my PvE setup, we have pretty much max ignore defense and pretty much max stats for the most part. But then our critical damage has dropped down a little bit, and our critical rate's dropped a little bit, but pretty much still about max stats. All right, and you guys saw that on my card set, I do have World Boss enacted, right? So right now the PvP setup that I have is going to be working in World Boss Legend, all right? And here's the beautiful thing about what I'm going to show you guys is that with Tier 4 characters, you can still do very, very well. This is stage 39. We're going to use 5% Pierce, and we need a villain, right? So we're going to use good old Hawk, right? We're not going to use we'll just use the one striker, decrease base damage received, energy attack. I mean, these aren't going to help Hawk at all because his damage is based off of HP, right? We do have the 45% HP, but we only have 5% Pierce at stage 39. Now, keep in mind, I do have a brilliant rage, and that's why I'm going to show you guys a little run with Black Widow as well. But watch this. Now, this first rotation, you notice there's not going to be the brilliant rage proc is not going to be enacted. But yet you can see the damage that he's doing, right? Now the brilliant rage proc is enacted. All right. Now it's not. Oh, bam. And look at the damage, guys, right? Look at the damage. Hawk is doing plenty of damage to do this. Now, I know, again, some of you are going to be thinking, well, yeah, but he's using a brilliant rage Forgo. I mean, come on, bro. Like, if they're using a brilliant, of course they're going to be doing really well. Well, I mean, with 5% Pierce, it's still pretty damn impressive, right? I mean, it's still pretty freaking crazy that, we're able to do this much damage. And I know you guys have probably had some other questions like, well, yeah, but, like, how much of a difference does it make in, like, say, PV, or not PV, All Alliance Battle? Got a little confused there, right? Got interrupted by the tentacle. But we're doing pretty freaking phenomenal, guys, right? The first phase of this boss is, and right there, guys, that Brilliant Rage wasn't even enacted. And we did that in about 1 minute, 15 seconds. And I've actually done this whenever I don't get interrupted by the tentacles in about 1 minute. Stage 39 with 5% Pierce. That's pretty nuts, guys. That's pretty damn nuts. That is pretty damn nuts. Okay, that's crazy. So again, let's move up a little bit, guys. We'll go to agility, right? Stage 40, right, where we can use Black Widow. We'll use this team up right here, okay? And we'll use, these strikers right here. Let me see. Energy attack isn't going to be really good. We want damage to super villains. So, okay, increased physical attack, that'll work, right? So let me show you what kind of damage she does. Now, Black Widow just has a regular rage on her. It's not a brilliant, it's not a mighty, it's not reforged. And something to keep in mind, guys, in World Boss Legend, using a damage proc, a CTP of energy, or a mighty CTP of destruction is better. It is better here, right? So that's also something else to keep in mind whenever you're watching it, right? But as you guys can see, the damage isn't too bad. Now, I'm trying not to get caught here. All right, not bad at all. And again, this is with 5% Pierce, right? Now, something else to keep in mind whenever you're watching this is that I'm actually going against Null, which is actually the easiest World Boss Legend. Whenever you start going against the other World Boss Legends, you will find that having more Pierce is going to make more of a difference. You will be able to do much better, especially in those other World Bosses like Jean, Gore, Ultron, especially those three, if you have a lot more Pierce. I mean, I think that goes without saying. But I will show you guys something pretty interesting that might surprise you even against Jean herself. Okay? All right, and now, Black Widow isn't going to do as good as my Hawk because she doesn't have a brilliant on her, right? Again, that does make a difference, guys. But she's still doing really, really well. We're also dealing with a lot of lag. Unfortunately, because we're playing on my emulator, which is pretty damn annoying, right? And we're recording this video at the same time. So the other computer is under a lot of stress right now. But she's doing this, guys. She's absolutely doing this, right? With a rage. Stage 40 with a rage. That's pretty damn awesome. So I really was shocked by how high these characters could push with having such a low amount of Pierce. That is crazy. And it just goes to show you guys that, if you're building your character, right? If you're a newer player and you're trying to set up your card sets, it just shows that you can take your time as far as building up your Pierce on your cards. Once you get just a little bit, this is only 5% Pierce that you're seeing here. Once you get a little bit, you can focus on trying to get a tier 4 character. Now, granted, tier 4s require a tremendous amount of materials, and that's the caveat to what I'm showing you. But if you're willing to take your time and you're patient and you're just slowly leveling up your cards, these characters are going to push these world bosses very, very far for you, even without leveling up your Pierce. That is pretty crazy. That is pretty damn crazy. And if she was using a proc, guys, she would have done way better than what she just did. She would have done way better. So that's pretty damn insane. Now, you're probably wondering yourselves, well, what about Jean Grey, right? I mean, if you only got 5% Pierce, you're not going to be able to do this. Well, now this is just stage 1, guys. This is just stage 1, right? I'm not going to use Jean. Jean's got a brilliant on her. But let's use Black Widow again with a regular rage, okay? And I'm just going to show you guys how much damage Black Widow does. Now, I know it's just stage 1, but the point of this is to show you that, if you're working on your account, you're slowly progressing your cards, you're trying to get a certain amount of, just slowly progressing that Pierce on your cards, you're still going to be able to do all the World Boss Legends. If this ends up being your World Boss Legend of the day, if you are that far in the game, then you can absolutely get it done. As you guys are going to see right now, watch this. Look at the damage, guys. Look at the damage. Right? This is some nutty damage, guys. She is absolutely destroying. I need to get out of here, man. She's absolutely destroying Jean, right? You can't deny the damage that she's doing. It's crazy. So, I mean, I know it's just stage one, right? I'm not trying to say that you don't need Pierce. You do need Pierce, guys. You do need to level up your Pierce, and you do need to get as much of it as possible because it's really just going to make your life a lot easier, especially if you're pushing World Boss Legend, right? Especially if you're doing this, and I would argue ABL as well. I mean, yeah. So I'm just going to stop, guys. I'm just showing you that, you can absolutely do this, right? Even with 5% Pierce, you can get it done even against the most difficult of them all, Gene. Now, again, it's just stage one, right? But you can do it. You can absolutely get it done. So, I mean, you can just take your time with leveling up your cards. And I really have been having a lot of fun with this new card set, seeing how strong these characters are. Now, regarding ABL and ABX, guys, well, that's a little bit different story. I will tell you guys this. In ABL or ABX, I'm not going to show you guys video because this video would be way too long if I did because I got another run I'm going to show you. But with this team up right here, guys, I was able to get about 9.4 million when I had 22% Pierce, and I have over 30% more physical attack on that PvE setup. But whenever I use the 5% Pierce, right, and 30% less physical attack, I only lost about 6% on my damage. I still was able to get 8.8 million, right? 8.8 million versus 9.4 million. With 5% Pierce. So Pierce doesn't really seem to make much of a difference at all in ABX. Really what seemed to make the difference, at least as far as what I think, is the fact that I lost 30% physical attack compared to my PvE setup. Right? You would think between 22% and 5%, people always tell me how much of a difference it makes when you have Pierce, but it does make a difference, guys, but it's not by much. With 6% difference, is not that big of an improvement. Now, for competitive ABX players, it is. But for you guys that are just coming in here and just trying to do the best you can, trying to get, good rewards, then it's not going to be as big of a deal, right? So that's actually pretty damn awesome. It also shows that you guys with low Pierce can actually do very, very well in ABX. Now, when it comes to ABL, that is a different world, guys. In ABL, I definitely seen a bigger improvement from having a lot more Pierce. There is a big difference because Surtur here has a huge decreased damage received. And when you have that Pierce, you're just going to be able to do a lot more damage. It does make a big difference in ABL. I cannot deny that, boy. It's a big difference, guys. I would say probably a 40% improvement. It's pretty big. I saw a big difference in my ABL scores with having 5% Pierce and 22% Pierce. Now I want to show you guys one more little run against Dormammu. And this might surprise you guys because this is a complete solo with 5% Pierce. 5% Pierce, guys, complete solo, okay? Now, granted, I do have a CTP of Rage, brilliant Rage, but watch the damage even when the Rage proc isn't engaged, right? Now, the Rage proc's engaged right there. It is engaged right there, okay? But now it won't be engaged. The Rage proc was not engaged there. Right now, whenever Dormammu goes to the next phase, he does have a decrease in Pierce, right? So we only have 5% Pierce in this run that you guys are watching. And yet, we're doing all this damage. And, and I'll try to run, guys, with other characters that don't have a brilliant. But I really want to start this off with Hulk because, he is my favorite character. And I just wanted to show this off a little bit. So, again, this is just proving that even if you don't have a lot of Pierce, you can still do well against GBR Dormammu if your character is tier 4. I do want to stress that very much, guys. I think your characters really need to be tier 4 because whenever I tested this with characters that were just level 72, definitely having all the extra Pierce made a much more of a difference. But when they're tier 4, having all the extra stats, being level 80, then there's, you don't need as much Pierce really for these characters to shine as much throughout the game except for ABL. Again, ABL, you really do need that extra Pierce to do really, really well. I was honestly dumbfounded by this run. I know it's not the Trinity effect where you have 3 teams where Dormammu is much more difficult, but it shows you guys that you actually put in work. And I might try to do a video where I'm working with other team members to show you guys how well it works. But then it comes down to how much Pierce they have as well, right? You know, the game takes into account how much Pierce all the other players have. If one player has 22% Pierce, then he has 22% Pierce. If another player has 15% Pierce, then he has 15% Pierce, right? And then I would have 5% Pierce with this card set up, right? So that's why I'm doing it this way, just doing a complete solo. Hawk took a lot of damage there. And like I said, guys, even though our Pierce is like, 2.5% right now, right? We are still able to do a lot of damage, right? I mean, again, we're going to do less damage if we're not using a Brilliant Rage, guys, to be fair. We're going to do less damage, but still, the time frame that we'll do this in, if I was using a regular Rage, I could still do it. I guarantee it. I guarantee a regular Rage could still do this. No problem, man. Let me know down in the comments, guys, if you have like 5% Pierce, 10% Pierce, and you are using a tier 4 character, and how well your character is doing, and let me know how much energy or physical attack you have pertaining to that character, because from what I'm seeing here, the Pierce, obviously, it will make a difference, but this is still pretty astounding that Hawk is flying through this here with 5% Pierce. It's honestly nuts. It almost makes me wonder if the effect that you set up for GBR and the cards, where you set up to where it works in GBR, Alliance Battle, and so on, if it's actually working, because we seem to be doing a pretty good amount of damage here, and it's just like, okay, right? Now, I haven't tested like level 80, just level 80 non-tier 4 against GBR solo, and maybe I'll do that next. But wow, this is pretty astounding, man. This is pretty astounding. And I could be getting excited for nothing. Like I said, maybe that effect isn't even working in here. I don't know. But if I had 22% Pierce, guys, we would do this even faster. So, I mean, that is pretty insane, guys. That's pretty damn insane that we were able to do that in 3 minutes, right? That's pretty damn crazy. Almost 4 minutes. Almost 4 minutes with 5% Pierce. So again, what this goes to show you guys is that, if you don't have a lot of Pierce, it's all good as long as you're trying to tier 4 your characters. Hawk was a character I wanted to use because, one, as far as damage, he's actually one of the weaker characters. He's still good in PvP, but he's really one of the weaker characters as far as damage. And maybe that Brilliant Rage is making up the difference. But I did show you with Black Widow also against Jean Grey. Granted, it was just stage 1, but stage 40 against Null, that Black Widow could do it with a regular Rage, right? I don't have no Brilliant or Reforged Obelisk on this girl. I don't have nothing like that on her. And if I was been using a CDP of Energy or a Mighty CDP of Destruction, we would have done even more damage. It's pretty nuts, guys. It's pretty nuts, man. So, I mean, I was really surprised by all these outcomes that we have seen, man. So, guys, let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you would like to see next, especially comparing like these card sets. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GD+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.